Today we're going to talk about Parkinson's law. But first, what is it? Do you remember as a student pulling all-nighters because you left your work to the very last minute? Yes, we've all done that. We do that even now within our own workplace. Or the other extreme is you give yourself too much time that the work just expands and there's scope creep and you forget what the original ask was. Now these two examples, my friends, is termed as Parkinson's law. Now what is Parkinson's law? That is the theory where work expands to fill the time in length and complexity. Today I will share the concept and the background, and then why does it even occur and how do you spot it? And then finally, some tools to implement and how to overcome it. So let's get stuck in. If you're new here, my name is Nimisha and welcome to my channel, A Spark Within. I am absolutely obsessed about self-development and how to be a better version of myself. If you would like insights and practical tools so you can lead a deep and meaningful life, then hit subscribe and join me on this journey. Now, what is Parkinson's law? This concept was developed by a naval historian, Northcote Parkinson, and he published an article in 1955 in The Economist, and there were two parts to this article. The first one, he was talking about how organizations become heavily bureaucratic, and then the second element was where it was an observation that work expands to fill the time available, which then became termed as Parkinson's law. Now, how do you recognize Parkinson's law, and also why does it even happen? We'll cover this. The first reason is overestimation. We overestimate the time a task is going to take. The second thing is when something is really far in the future, our brain just doesn't feel the urgency. There's also this perceived complexity. When something is quite far in advance, we feel it's going to be overly complicated, so you just don't sit down to tackle the actual task at hand. The other one is distractions. We are surrounded by distractions, and that in itself will add as a friction from preventing us to completing the task at hand. What tools are there and how do you overcome it? The first one is prioritizing important tasks. One way is the Eisenhower matrix. This is a quadrant. You classify items and you put them into 4 boxes. The bottom 2 relate to something that you can delegate. You take that off your plate. The second one is some items which are not urgent and not important that you also take off your plate. What you're then left with are 2 categories, urgent and important. You really should be focusing on those. And the other one is not urgent but important. So for instance, for me, is recording these videos. These are not urgent, but they're really, really important. So that's where I'll be also focusing on. The other way is putting artificial time limits. When there's no deadline for a particular task, we tend to naturally prolong it. Just spend lots of time faffing on it, tweaking it, complicating it. So we should put artificial deadlines. An example that I can share is doing this video. I can spend the entire day recording and re-recording and recording some more stuff on it and trying different things out. But I've had to put a time limit. So I've given myself an hour before my daughter comes home from school to get some recordings done. Now this is an artificial time limit that I've put on myself. The other way is increasing the level of urgency. So you have a deadline that is due, for example, that is due in 5 weeks' time. You then shrink it to a reasonable amount of time, but what that means is you'll get that piece of work done ahead of time. And that is great, right? Parkinson's law is simply an observation of how humans behave and tend to do things. It's not something that we can eliminate completely, but the most important thing is just being aware and employing some of the tools that's been shared here and experimenting of different ways and techniques and what works. There's a fine line between just enough time and not enough time. And it comes with experimenting different tools and techniques and seeing what works and how long a particular task is going to take. It's not about getting things done really quickly so you compromise quality or creativity. It's giving yourself enough time. So try these tools out and let me know in the comments on how you get on. If you like this video and you would like to see more, then please hit subscribe. It will help my channel immensely. And also, just let me know what sort of topics you would like me to cover. Thanks, and remember, we all have a spark within us.